start by telling us your name and how old you are?
My name's Aaron, and I'm 32.
And a little bit about life growing up.
I was brought up with my mum and my stepdad. My dad wasn't really around, he was living in Torquay, he was on drugs and that, so I didn't really see much of him. And two sisters, an older sister and a younger sister. Yeah, quite an okay upbringing.
Did you go to school, stick at school and stuff? Yeah.
Went to school, stuck at school. I did alright. My trade's a tiler and plasterer. I worked for my uncle for a bit.
That's a good trade, because you're never out of a job, are you? No. So what happened when you left school?
I went to college. I did 6 months in college as a mechanic. I left that. I went on to do a tiling and plastering course, and then I started working with my uncle.
Yeah. And what happened from there?
My uncle retired, and because my cousin took the business over to Australia, I couldn't go because of, criminal charges I had, so,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up losing my job. And then I found my missus in bed with my friend, so she had my stuff packed and somebody was moving out, and I became homeless. It wasn't the easiest.
No, I can imagine.
But yeah.
So she literally kicked you out?
I had my stuff packed and somebody was moving out.
And you had nowhere to go to?
Nowhere to go to. Because of falling out with family members, I burnt most of my bridges, so I couldn't really...
Didn't have anyone to turn to?
Exactly.
Yeah. How long have you been homeless for?
On and off now for about 5.5, 6 years.
Wow, that must be really difficult.
Yeah, it's not nice. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it, don't you?
Do you feel quite vulnerable out here?
Some days, yeah. Yeah, that's what I do.
Do people offer you help? Do you think there's more people could do, or?
Yeah, there's more they could do. They do offer you help, but they don't offer you the help you want. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. What help would you want?
Well, they put you in hostels, and it's around other people, and because I've got anxiety and depression, I find it hard to socialise with other people most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just need a place of my own, so I'm not around people, because it's I don't know, I just don't feel right around a lot of people.
Did you suffer with those before being homeless?
Yeah, I've always had anxiety and depression. Yeah.
Do they contribute to your situation, do you think, or?
Not really.
No.
If things was a bit easier, then I think I could manage, but because it's all difficult ways, they take you about it and stuff, they put you in hostels and put you around people and stuff, and I don't know, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I imagine once you're homeless, it makes it more difficult to sort of get back into work and...
Yeah, because not a lot of places will take you on because you're homeless. So, yeah.
Because would you ideally like to get back to working?
I'd love to get back to working.
Yeah.
But, having an address at the moment, it's hard to
get back into it. Have you got any children or family that you...
Yeah, I've got 3 children.
3? Do you get to see them much? Or
No, I don't see them at all. Yeah.
Would you like to rebuild that relationship with them?
I'd love to. But at the moment it's hard because of falling out with the families and stuff, so... Yeah.
What steps do you think you could take towards rebuilding that relationship?
I need to get myself in somewhere first, and then, go through. I'd have to probably go through a day centre or something to see him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you feel like it would all start with getting somewhere to live then, everything?
If I had somewhere to live in that first, get myself back on my feet and get myself sorted in that first, then it'd be a bit easier.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit of pressure off my mind anyway.
Do you feel that you get judged a lot
Yeah,
for
a
being...
lot. Hell of a lot, yeah. I feel like people looking down on us all the time and, you know, like talking about you and stuff like that makes me like a bit anxious and
I
that.
can imagine.
Yeah.
And have you had like a lot of bad stuff happen to you out on the street?
I've been beaten up out here. I was in hospital, believe it or not, for 3 months. I got left for dead in a place in Hardwick called Fenton House. It's like an abandoned house. Some guy like, beat me up with a big, like, you know, joist out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
He beat me up with one of them, man. He smashed my head in. I had to have 30 stitches in my head. He broke my ribs. He shattered them on one side, broke them on the other. He broke my arm. He broke my collarbone. Yeah, he did a lot of damage to me. Broke my jaw, broke my nose.
And then just left you there?
Just left me there, yeah. And the police found me.
You're lucky they found you.
Yeah, very lucky.
Would you say sort of violence is quite common?
Yeah. There's a lot of violence out here when you're homeless. You can ask someone for change and you can get started on for asking for change. I've had that before now, yeah.
That's crazy. Have you got any advice for people watching this?
Just try and keep a roof over your head and not become homeless. And if you do, try and get yourself in somewhere as quick as possible, because you find yourself very vulnerable out here some nights.
I can imagine. What's your favourite memory from growing up?
Favourite memory from growing up? I did having to go on holiday with my mum and my stepdad.
Where did you used to go on holiday?
Spain.
Nice. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Where do I see myself in 5 years' time?
Or where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
I'd like to have my own place, a job in place, and see my children, and hopefully another child or two.
Yeah. Would you like to sort of settle down then, get in a serious relationship?
Yeah.
And just have that family?
Yeah, just that family environment.
Yeah. Have you got anything else that you'd like?
No.
That's great, thank you so much. Thank you very much for watching Aaron's story. We're now going to talk a little bit about it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed it. Thank you. So, Aaron grew up with his mum and stepdad. He mentions, he doesn't go into detail, but he mentions that his dad was an addict, which I thought was interesting. He doesn't say how much of a relationship he had with his dad, whether he saw him a lot, but it just goes to show, like they say, don't they, that addiction runs in families.
Do you believe that?
There's a lot of science behind it to show that, like, individuals who grew up with parents who struggled with addiction, they're more likely to have problems with addiction in their own lives later on. And there's like a multitude
Is that because the weakness there, or is going through birth?
But it's also genetic as
Genetic.
well. Like that plays one factor, and then it's also being exposed to it, being around it. You're more likely to have, more likely to have an unstable childhood, which puts you more at risk of anxiety, depression, that kind of stuff, which again makes you more prone to addiction. Like, there's a whole load of reasons, and I think all of them clubbed together. But yeah, genetically you can be more prone to addiction. I think especially with stuff like alcohol.
I don't believe that.
It's science. What's there not to believe?
No.
You literally cannot argue with science. I missed when you were a scientist. I'm so sorry.
What I'm trying to say to you, I believe if the kid's exposed to it, it's more likely when they grow up, they will think that's okay to do. But I don't believe that it's genetic. Because I know people...
I don't have to argue this point, because it's true.
Alright, let me give you an example, right? I know a lot of people, the parents addict, and they're not.
It can go one of two ways, can't it? Like,
There we go. So
No, but I'm trying to agree with you, as in, you can have children of addicts who, because their parents are an addict, are like, I would never ever touch that stuff.
Yeah.
See?
So that's why it's not genetic.
Well, yeah, but they have a genetic predisposition to become more easily addicted if they tried stuff.
It's not genetic then. Do you disagree with me?
No, I didn't. I just said they've got a genetic disposition if they tried drugs to be more likely to be addicted to them.
Have you heard the story?
But mental willpower is strong.
Have you heard the story of the two brothers?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I told you the story of the two brothers.
No, you didn't.
Pretty sure if you look
So
back
one
on
of the
one of
brothers-
my earlier videos, the
one
dad
of the
was an
brothers-
alcoholic and one son was an alcoholic
Yeah.
because his dad was, and one wasn't because
So
his dad was.
if that was genetic, don't you think both of them will have it?
Okay, take like diabetes, that can be genetic,
Yeah.
more likely to run in families. But you can put the work in to make sure you don't get it. Just because it's genetic doesn't mean it's 100% you're
Nah.
Yeah.
I disagree with you.
You can't fight science. This isn't me.
I'm right.
I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah.
You're wrong.
Agree. I'm not wrong. You're wrong.
Let's
I
agree
can
and
see
disagree.
your point of view, but it
I
doesn't
can
make
see.
it right.
I can't even see your point of view. That's the problem.
But I have multiple studies to back up my point of view. You had
I
that.
got my own study.
Of course. Of course you have. So I think unlike a lot of the people that we have spoke to, he did well at school. He came out, he went to college, he trained as a plasterer.
Yeah.
And
That's a good.
Yeah, I think we were about to say the same thing. That's a good, like, obviously have nothing against going to uni and all these top jobs, but having a trade, you're never out of a job. Like, people
Never.
always need
Never.
the house,
Yeah.
like, it's a good trade to be in.
That's good money as well.
However, because it was his uncle's company, when his uncle died, his cousin moved a business to Australia. And I think this is another point to what we talked about, I think the other week,
Yeah.
about how convictions should have a cut-off point.
Yeah.
Because due to previous convictions, and I haven't been travelling, like Spain is probably like the most exotic place I've been to.
Oh, Egypt.
Oh, Egypt, yeah, and I've been to America.
Egypt for 5 days. You didn't go out of the hotel.
10 days. That wasn't me, it was the company I kept. But the point I was trying to make was I am not well travelled, and even I know
Yeah.
how hard Australia is to get into. They're proper strict with their visas. Real strict. And so unfortunately, that landed him then without a job.
That's a heavy one.
Which I think, I mean, obviously I don't know what convictions he's got, but the fact he's not in jail now makes me think they're not serious convictions. Why should some silly mistakes then get to dictate the rest of your life? Because imagine how different life could have been
Yeah.
for him if he'd got to go over there and stay in the business.
But then again, the way you have to see it, you commit a crime, it's gonna affect you the rest of your life.
I guess there has got to be consequences,
There has to be
otherwise more
consequences,
people
yeah.
would.
Yeah.
But I don't think you think that through when you're younger, do you?
No, you don't.
At all. So then he became homeless after his girlfriend cheated on him and then kicked him out. And I think that just goes to show, doesn't it, how...
That woman are vicious.
wasn't where I was going with that. But I think it just goes to show, doesn't it, how I think a lot of people, and probably a lot of people sat at home watching this, are thinking, I would never end up homeless. But I think that just goes to show how easy it could be. Like, if you're in love with that person, you don't have a backup plan.
No. Because what they do, they make you cut off. You have to cut off all your friends all the time.
Well, I mean, we don't know it was an abusive relationship.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying
what you're describing is. That's not a
No,
normal
I'm not
relationship.
describing that. What I'm saying, for him to go straight to the street, that's mean he didn't have a lot of people that.
He said himself he burnt his bridges
He burned the
himself
bridges.
with his family and stuff.
Exactly. And you know why?
You're going to blame the woman, and I just don't. I am not saying that's not true, but I don't think you know enough. We don't know enough about that situation to comment.
Yeah.
Some people do it to themselves, as in they get in a relationship
Yeah.
and they don't want to spend time with anyone else.
Yeah.
Not all women are toxic, just like not all men are toxic.
Yeah.
Just a lot of them. Yeah, he said himself he burnt his bridges with his family, which then left him with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
He's been homeless now for 6 years.
6 years.
And he said himself he's got anxiety and depression. He struggled with that beforehand, but obviously being homeless has made those worse. So therefore, whenever they try and help by putting him in hostels, he struggles. Because he struggles with being around
People.
which I think most people can probably relate to.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to be around people all day and then you go home and you're still around people and they're not even people you would necessarily choose to be around. Like, that's got to be hard.
But do you think certain people might think you don't have no choice?
You take what you give them.
Yeah.
I
Because
can 100% think that some people would, yeah.
because you got that option. Do you want to
But-
sleep on the street or
Yeah, but to him, I guess,
in a hostel?
which one's worse? Which one does he struggle with most?
Yeah. They struggle around people in the hostel.
Yeah. It exacerbates his anxiety and depression,
Yeah.
and that's harder for him than being homeless. And like, mental health doesn't have to make sense, does it?
No.
Like, I think it's easy to look, and I can 100% agree. I think a lot of people watching this or hearing that would be like, you're not exactly in a position to be fussy now, are you? Like, take what you're given, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But to him, that's not better, that's harder. And I don't think there's anything worse than fighting a battle in your head.
Oh.
Because people can't see it, they
They
don't
can't see
understand it, and I
It's
don't
worse.
think sometimes you struggle to explain it, don't you? You can't.
You can't express it.
No. It's not like if you've got a broken leg, it's obvious for everyone to see and help you. Mental health isn't.
No.
And then he talks a bit about, and I think we've discussed this as well previously, how he would love to get back to work, but with no address. He struggles, but with no work he can't get an address.
Yes.
And it's a vicious cycle. Like how
How can you?
it just makes it hard, doesn't it? Like, all he wants is his own place, and he's trained, he's got a career, like, he's got
Felix
qualifications, and he wants to work, but without the address he's struggling to get work.
Work.
But then with no money coming in, he can't get that address.
It's hard.
It's a vicious, and I
It's
can't
a vicious
think of a
circle,
way out
and you
of
can't.
it.
Yeah.
And I
You
can
can't- it's
imagine
like
it
you can't-
wears him down.
You can't win. You're fine losing battle. You can't win.
No.
You can't. You can't get work. You can't get a house because you need to get a house first. Then.
To get work, but you
get
can't
work.
get the house without the work. It's just for something that seems to have such like a simple solution.
Yeah.
It's impossible, isn't it? And I just think it's sad because he loved to get back to work, and like he wants to get his life sorted out.
Yeah.
And for him at the moment, I imagine it feels like there's no way out.
There's no way.
But I would love to like speak to him in a couple of years and find out that he's got his own place and he's got a job and he's getting his life back on track. Hopefully he does.
Hopefully he does get his stuff. Hopefully he gets it sorted.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed it.